Action. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to RPO TV Season 3. Y'all know what time it is, man. I'm so grateful for everybody watching and tuning in. Like I say every episode, please drop the like, comment on the conversation. Do what you got to do to push us out, especially if you're someone that watches. It's easy just to click like, man. So whatever y'all could do, thank you for that. I'm seriously grateful. I was just telling my guests today that I'm like mind blown again that it was Season 3, man. You guys know I'm working hard as best as I can with the tax season. You know, we're running up credit repair, so every day is just a hustle. It's a grind, but I'm doing these episodes to give y'all wisdom, to point you on the right direction, and do that through my guests, do that through the people here that are here. And today's guest, man, I'm like super grateful this is happening, man. It's been a long time coming. We've been working and hustling together for about, what is it, maybe 3-4 years, maybe even longer, right? And so if y'all don't know, now you know, man. RPO TV Season 3, I got my boy here who's been hosting and taking care of the city for as long as I can remember. Somebody that even personally for me that I've looked up to, someone for me that I've been listening to on the radio for some time, man. And he does a great job. Not only that, even on business level and being around him has been a blessing in a sense of somebody who looks out for you, somebody who's gonna tell you what it is, take care of you, and just put you in the right places. So today I want to welcome my guest, Ricky Padilla.
Everybody goes crazy.
We're gonna have sound effects one of these days. We're gonna do that, but yeah. Again, guys, this is it, man. We got Ricky on the show. Been a radio host for some time, and I'm blessed to have you, man. How's everything going so far?
Can't complain, bro. Can't complain. You know, we just got back on a new radio station, which in essence was my old radio station, 102 Jam. So that's where I started from, and then I bounced around a couple radio stations. Blessed to be able to stay in the same city these years and do radio, and now I just recently went back to 102 Jams.
Dang, back at 102 Jams, man. Not to ever 102 Jams has been like fire, bro. Like, I've been putting it on, bro, and I've been like, they're playing throwbacks, like, but I'm not gonna lie, like, I'm someone who plays the regular Apple, Spotify, YouTube music. But when sometimes I get in the whip and the radio's on, I leave the radio.
Yeah, we've been touching them. They call gold records. Those records that everybody forgot about that always hits.
Yeah.
We drop a ton of those, and the success has been very, very good with it. People are loving it, and I'm loving it that they're loving it.
It's good, man. Like, how did that happen? I haven't asked you yet. From 102 Jams, doing 102, and then coming back to 102. Was it like a different marketing or company, or how did that work?
Well, there's a step before that, just getting into radio. A lot of people like radio and like podcasts and all that stuff, but there's a step that some people don't tend to realize you have to go through, right? So I started at 102 Jams, the initial 102 Jams, just driving a van. And, obviously the ultimate goal was to get on radio, but I had just finished my AA and was working at an insurance company. And I left that insurance company making good money at the time to make like minimum wage just to get my foot in the door. And once I got my foot in the door, then I climbed the ladder and was able to get, a one-night show, which was like, when nobody listens, it was like, think about Sunday, all day Sunday, and then midnight Sunday night, and then 2 a.m, which is technically 2 a.m. on that Monday, I would have like 2 to, I think it was 4 hours, and I treated it like gold. Yeah.
I think from what I remember, I think you did some posts. You're always active on social media, which is key, bro. I love that about you. You're always posting, doing something new. With the van.
Yeah.
So you guys were doing a van.
Yeah, we were driving a van. I was driving a van when I first started. That's it. That was my job. The radio stations have events where they have to set up.
In the 102 Jams van, like you're. What was the van? What was the purpose of the van?
No, that day I was. That was my first day at 102 Jams, and we were just doing film and social media stuff. So I was in the van. But my first job in radio was driving the van. So that's what it was. That was just like me reminiscing, like, damn, this is where I started.
No, it's
all
awesome.
these years
that's
later.
crazy. Yeah. You look back on it.
But I would go to set up events, and we would have the van. You have to load the van, T-shirts, and all kind of stuff, and set up. And ultimately was given the opportunity to shadow somebody, and that was the ultimate goal from day one. I left the insurance company to go there to work, and I knew it was a pay decrease, a tremendous pay decrease.
Wow.
But I had, I had the vision that nobody was going to tell me no, and and if they did, I was just going to ask somebody else. You said no, all right, I will figure it out. You said no, but somebody else back there that might say yeah.
Yeah.
And that's how I started to 102, and I had that show at night, and then I did Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then they ended up giving me overnights, and then from overnights I went to nights, from nights I went to afternoon drive. And then I got into it with a guy, a gentleman, and I'll never forget him. And it's funny because about 2 years ago, when I got a job at another radio station, I wanted to tag that guy. And little did he know, like, this man inspired me to, like, I don't even think inspired is the word, motivated me to be who I am now. You know what I'm saying? The man had told me, now I did a few years at 102 Jams, the first 102 Jams, and I had the #1 show, but there was so much friction between me and him that he just felt like I wasn't good for radio. And he sat there, and I knew, my contract was ending, and when it was ending, I was like, shit, like, I got about 2 months. They haven't offered a contract. I know this motherfucker don't like me. Like, he ain't gonna give me a fucking contract. Like, I don't know what's gonna happen. Now it's down to a month, and I'm like, I got 4 weeks left. Now it's down to 2 weeks, and my contract ends, and there ain't no kind of conversation. And then it gets down to Friday, and he was like, hey, Monday, come to my office before you work, before you start your shift. I said, all right, this Saturday is my last day at this station.
So what are you thinking going to?
Oh, I knew what time it was. So at that point, I wanted to get my ducks in order and just walk out with my chin up. You know what I'm saying? Because I felt like I started to, gain ground in Orlando. Like, I'm not just the guy that was just driving the van no more. Like,
got motion.
I got motion. Traction. Yeah. And so I remember sitting there, and when I walked in, there was a gentleman that was an HR guy, and me and him were super cool. I would always see him, very nice guy. And I opened the door, and when I opened the door, he looked at me dead in my eye and went. And so I knew, all right, it's over. So I sat down and tried to, listen to what they said. Oh, we're going a different direction, blah, blah. And at that point, like I said, I already knew I had the whole weekend to think about it. So I was like, well, what direction are you going? Because I'm #1. Like, you got people on your staff that's not even 3 and 5. I'm #1. What direction are you going? Show me what direction you go after that. Oh, no, it's not that. We doing this. And I was like, all right, and I walked out, and they had me try to sign some paperwork. And I was like, no, I'm not signing nothing. You can give it to me. I'll walk out. And I left and cried like a baby. I cried like a baby. I called my mom on the car. I gave this place everything I had. You know what I'm saying? And
took the pay cut.
Yeah, like I started from the bottom. I'm #1, and like, like I didn't understand it, Mom. Like, I said, God just didn't like me. So fast forward, like 2 days later, I get a phone call from Stevie the Man, amazing guy. This guy has done wonders. I can never thank him enough.
Yeah. Wow.
He was at Power 95.3, and he had said
95.3. If y'all don't know, now you know.
Yep. He said, hey, I heard you don't have a job, and I like in text or whatever, and I was like, motherfucker, I don't got no damn job. Joking around because he's family. And he's like, hey, stop by the office next week. And I said, well, I'm on a non-compete for 6 months. Because radio stations, when you sign a contract with them, they don't want you to have that, like, quote unquote star power, that name, and then you just go across the street.
Someone's telling me, I can't work with you if you're like 20-mile radius or something like that.
It was 60, it was 50 or 60, I don't remember, but I know it was like 50 or 60. And he was like, man, I'll get you out that contract, don't worry about it. And within like 2 weeks, they got me out the contract, and then coincidentally, listen to this, while that was all going down, the staff over at 102 was like advocating for, like, why'd you get rid of Ricky? Like, he's brought so much money to the table, you know, all this stuff. So they start advocating. Now they offer me my job back. 102 Jams offered me my job back. The guy that didn't like me, I guess they got in his ear.
After Stevie helped with the contract?
Yeah, when they found out that I was going to 102 Jams. So when word got over, Power 95.3, so word got over to 102 Jams, they offered me a job back. And then at that point I was tenured, and I said, look, if you want me to come back, it's been about a month since we're gone. One, I need to start from my start date. This little break has nothing to do with me bringing a brand new employee. Two, I want a pay raise. And I demanded some wild shit to see if, they were going to give it to me. And they didn't meet the quota. They met some of it. And I said, you know what? I'm gone. I don't trust you. I trust Stevie. I don't care if Stevie paying me half of what you paying me. I know, he has my best interest, and he's going to do what he can for me, and I'm going to do what I can for him.
Yo, RPO, take notes. This is crazy. Trust is a big factor.
Yeah, building relationships. One of the reasons I'm here.
Yeah. Paying me half, or even if he was or he wasn't.
Yeah, I know he got my best interest. Like, this guy, he didn't like me, so it was very difficult to, deal with the dude. And so I go over to Power. Then we have a great run at Power. That's when I feel like I cut all ties. It's not the guy from the van. This is I got 7 nights a week. Every night I'm in the club, all kind of craziness going on. Business is booming. I end up purchasing my first club with some guys, and just kept going and going and going and building business. And then from Power ended up getting sold. It became a Spanish station, and I am Spanish, but radio is very you gotta be witty. You gotta be able to talk quick. You gotta crack jokes. My Spanish is enough to be able to have a full conversation. You can tell that I can speak Spanish and stuff like that, but they wanted to see if I can do Spanish radio, and I was like, nah, I can't.
Do more. Huh? That's what they wanted you to do more.
Yeah.
I already told you what I'm doing. Now they want to add something.
Yeah, and I wasn't upset with it, because it was either take it or leave it.
It's almost like they try to throw shots well, maybe I could be wrong, but not degrade you, but be like, oh, you can't do that. It's like, what are you talking about? We weren't even talking about that.
Yeah, thankfully it didn't get to that point where they looked at it like that. They were just saying there could be opportunity.
Okay, an opportunity.
And I came up front and was like, that's not something that, I feel like I have a pretty decent brand as far as the English market and radio, so I'll stay there. And I was thankful, just to have the conversation. So that company ended up making a slot over at Star 94.5. And was like, hey, listen, you've done great with the company. We're going to try to put you at Star 94.5. I had 2 years there. And
I remember 94.
Yeah, I had 2 years over at Star. And it just wasn't the right fit, It wasn't the right fit. I think they were playing a little...
They were doing videos at Star.
Yeah, they were playing a little more older than what I was used to. And, nothing against them. I listen to them. I think it's absolutely amazing, but it just wasn't a fit for me. And great people over there. We parted ways. They were super nice. They gave me 6 months severance pay, and
they did the deed.
Yeah, they took care of us, and ultimately from there, then I was having conversations with the Beat, and I had called Stevie to let him know, listen, I might have a situation over at the Beat. Wanted to run it by you. It was the wildest shit ever. He said, let me call you back. I said, all right. I didn't think none of it. I walked into the pool with the kids, chilling. He's like, where you at? And I'm like, I'm home. He's like, can I come over right now? I'm like, I'm in the pool with the kids. I was like, if you want to, I said, but if not, let's go grab dinner later. So at that time, I was part owner of Novelty, and I was like, well, meet me at Novelty. We'll order food there, have some drinks, hookah. And he was like, look, before you make a decision over at the Beat, I'm about to start up a brand new radio station called Fly 1031. He's like, nobody knows what's going on. I want you to take over afternoons. I said, bitch, don't say nothing else. Where you want me to sign? Yeah, where you want me to sign? And
could have told me this over the phone. Now.
Yeah, that part. You had my stomach going for a couple hours. But he offered me that job, and I didn't look back at the Beat. I said, I'm out. This is a great situation. Stevie's the boss. Yeah. He knows I'm going to fight for him. He's going to fight for me. And He's gonna do what he can for me, and I'm gonna do what I can for him. And we went there. So then we went to Fly, and then Fly. Now imagine this. Fly was like a country station, 103.1 country, right?
Okay.
From like day to like one day to the other, like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, it went to hip hop. And they threw us in there. And all them people was fired up. They're calling the radio, what are y'all playing? Da, 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 da. And so
what are y'all playing?
Yeah, we're sitting there. I stopped picking up the calls because the energy was just off of me. And I'm like, I ain't trying to
turn into the Breakfast Club.
Yeah, I ain't trying to hear this shit. So I'm picking up the phone, stop picking up the phone. And then, you know, we get in the groove and people start hearing about Fly 103.1. And ultimately, we raised the value of the station in the market. And they ended up turning around and within a year and a half sold it. Yep. Yeah, sold it to some other station. And, you know.
When was this?
This was about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago.
You've been on a journey since COVID.
And, you know, Stevie being the real one, he said, hey, I got to talk to you. And he said, so coming to the station. So I got there early. That was about a week before.
Like, what is it this time?
Nah, with him, I knew. He was like, look, bro.
I know. Shout out Stevie.
Yeah. And he was like, I don't believe in what they're doing, but they're going to make changes. And it's big changes. And he was like, this is probably your last week. He said, I'm telling you this because you're my brother. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But they're going to make changes. And he's like, and there's nothing I can do. And at that point, I respected it. You know, I loved him for that. But that was a hard week to go to work every day, knowing that on Friday is your last day. You know?
I think we all been there.
Yeah. So we got there and, you know, another, hey, before your shift on Friday, guys, can you come into the studio or to the office? And so we went into the office, but we already knew what time it was. And, you know, they just let us go. I think they might have gave us 2 weeks severance pay or whatever. And then, because there's still more, then we went to the beat. And that was a fucking crazy situation. It took about 3 months of us doing paperwork, not being cleared, this, that, and the third. We did.
Damn, 3 months.
3 months. How long is Memorial Day to Labor Day? Whatever that is. Because we started on like Memorial Day, and then it was only like a practice run here. You know, you got this weekend, you do this weekend, whatever. We still don't have your paperwork done. You know, this is going through this is going through that. We get everything. We take our pictures for our badge. We do everything. Something happens with management, who the person that hired us, they had a situation, and I guess they got removed from that situation, and we got the email, welcome to iHeart, you start this Monday, and you got your key code and all this shit. Bro, so I'm like, it's Monday, right? It's this Monday, and we start on this Monday. Mm-hmm. Our guy, I guess, no longer works there, the one that had facilitated everything. So it's like Wednesday, and I'm like, bro, I'm telling Nasty, we start this Monday. We ain't heard from these people. We don't know what the hell's going on. Like, what's going to happen? And he was like, man, I don't even know if we got a job. And I was like, duh. Like, no shit. So I started emailing, calling, and by Thursday they called and was like, hey, every project that was underneath that is no longer going to move forward. And so we didn't even start. Like, we literally had a start date for Monday and got fired before Monday came. Yep. That was the wildest shit ever. Like, you ever hear got fired on your day
every
off?
now and then Anthony would keep me up with what's going on. Yeah. And I'm like, yo, that's crazy. You doing, yo. Like you said, bro, I'm number one, bro. We've been seeing you, bro, for years on years, bro. Like, anyways.
So that goes to that. Now, this finally answers your question. How did you go back to 102 Jams? Yeah. You said, how'd I get back to 102 Jams? But there was a whole thing that you missed out. So when 102 Jams popped up, we had, you know, I got the phone call. Obviously, I was there for a while at 102 Jams, and, you know, I got called in, and we sat down, and, you know, things wasn't right financially, and which was rightfully so. They're brand new, considered brand new after being gone for so many years, you know. And I was like, oh, let's just keep in contact, you know. I'm in a good space right now. If the situation's right, I would love to go back. And after, them getting some things together and, me being open, I was like, let's do it. And, now I'm back at 102 Jams after all these years.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was a hell of a journey. So I had to bring you through the, yeah.
Even people that have known you for so many years and seeing you moving through the city and doing what you're doing, being on radio, again, I appreciate you sharing this because, like, that's the point of RPO TV is, like, letting people know the grind and the hustle through it all. You know what I'm saying? Even people that, for years are like, people, when you're doing, especially if you're on the radio, you're like, consider like, oh my God, someone on the radio, like, yo, that's cool. Like, people get to your voice and everything, get to be, and they kind of already put, I guess, a perspective or a perception that like, oh yeah, Ricky, oh, that's my dog, like, he's doing good. You know what I'm saying? And as much as you are, you're building your family, you're building your career, there's those obstacles that go through it. And I love that you share that because everyone always feels like they're the only ones going through it.
Yeah, no, there was a time I was depressed, bro. I went up to about 250 pounds. Like, thankfully with the businesses that I started, it carried everything. So I wasn't in a financial pinch or anything like that. But you start wondering like, all right, I done hit every radio station in the city. Like, what's left? Like, okay, is radio really not going to be a situation in my life anymore? Yeah. Like, I've hit 5 radio stations. So, there was a point
and you're doing an amazing job, man.
Yeah, thank you, bro.
In and out of radio, bro.
Yeah.
Like, but when you're in radio, bro, and even when I'm cruising now and I hear you on the radio, I'm like, yo, Ricky.
Yeah.
Yo, I promise, bro, it's like twice I've been wanting to take a picture of the radio station. Bro, I'll be driving like I can't be doing this. By the time like I'm parked up, I forget. But yo, if you're tuning in, bro, to Ricky on the radio station, bro,
tag me, shout yourself out, shout your company out. Yo, what's up? I do taxes, and I'm listening to Ricky Padilla. Bam, I'll retag, I'll repost you, all that shit. It's love, bro. Like, they taking the time out to show love to me, so why can't I show love back to whatever they got going on?
Yeah, no, I love it, man. And I wanted to, one thing that as you're speaking, one thing that I want to ask is like, I love the perseverance you have. I love that confidence you have too when you're like in the beginning of your career and you're saying, bro, like you're believing in yourself, like, bro, I'm number one, I do this, and to go through the whole journey or most of it that you just did, and I'm pretty sure there's a lot to it than just that. How do you like stay confident? How do you stay grounded? Like, what keeps you moving in that direction to be like, no matter what, I'm standing my ground, like this is what I want, this is what I'm going for?
I think it's the competitiveness in me. Like, I hate to lose, bro. If you got a ping pong table here, like we gonna go at it.
We gonna about to play MLB.
Yeah. We were talking off camera the MLB baseball. Like, I was like, yo, I gotta add you. Me and my son be at it. Like, I don't let up on them. None of that.
By the way, my lineup starts off with Vladimir Guerrero Sr. Ooh. He's first. Ooh. He like this.
There's a rumor.
He like this.
And you guys can check it out. He used to, I want to say, pee on his hands to make his hands fucking hard. I don't know if that's true. I heard that in the baseball world, but
Dominicans go crazy, bro. I did a Dominican camp when I was little, and I remember we was hitting the tire. They had a tire hanging from the tree, a big old truck tire, and I was hitting the tire. They're like, you're gonna hit it 100 times. I'm so glad my dad took me there. It was like so humbling because it showed me the world of like how the Dominicans really play baseball. And we're Americans, bro, and my Spanish is like half and half. Like, again, I can hold a conversation, but it's not the best. And I'm hitting the tire. And mind you, my coach, or the coach there, was like this big David Ortiz, big poppy dude. Like, and he's a cool dude. And I'm hitting the tire, and then I get a blister on my thumb. And it's like a big fat bubble. And I was like, yo, I don't know when the last time I got this, my soft ass hands. And I remember he looked at it, and he was being funny, but he looked at it, I was like, yo, I can't go no more. Bro, he slapped my hand and was like, get back in there.
Get your ass in there. That's the way it's supposed to be.
He would have been like, yo, if I would have kept crying, he would have been like, yo, take a piss on your hands real quick.
I swear on my kids, bro. Listen to this shit. My son,
he got me dying with that.
No, yeah, and I didn't say that. I said I heard that, so I don't want nobody to be like he heard that or seen it or none of that wild shit. I'm not saying it's true. I said I just heard it.
Oh, that's funny.
But my son twisted his ankle today, and he has trials tomorrow, and I wanted to test his like integrity, like So I was like, all right, he's like, he's limping and stuff like that. And I'm not, trying to be hard on him. I was like, well, I guess you can't go to trials tomorrow. He's like, no, Dad. And for me, that was like, I was happy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, he's going to fight through it. And that, basically to answer your question, bro, I'm just competitive, and I that's what keeps me driving. Like,
that's a good question.
I'm just, I'm bringing it back. That's basically it, bro. Like, I always, if I see something and I want to get it done, like, I'm gonna try everything, and it's gonna take a lot for somebody to say no. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, there's a difference, and I always tell, the younger guys, because now I'm one of the older guys in the business, is like, you got to understand there's a difference between annoying and ambition, right? So annoying somebody, I was there, not knowing I was annoying, right? Does that make sense?
Okay.
Like, I'm bothering you, yo, I wanna be on your podcast, whatever, right? That's annoying.
Yeah.
And then there's ambition, like, oh, I love what you do. Maybe one day I can help you guys and sit behind if you need anything, you know what I'm saying? I can go get you guys food. Now that's ambition. Like, you bringing something to the table. I'm bringing something to the table for you guys and saying, like, look, I want to be a part of it. Like, I'll do whatever it takes to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Some people don't understand that,
Wow.
Yeah, and that.
Elaborate on that.
Examples, you talk about some of the artists that want to be played, right? Let's think about an artist that is quote unquote local, right? Yeah. Your first conversation to somebody in radio shouldn't be, hey, what's up? I have a record. That is probably the last thing you should say in a conversation, and you probably shouldn't even say it the first time. You know what I'm saying? You get to build you got to build rapport with people, right? Because you got 100 people saying, I got a record that's hot for radio, I got a record that's hot for radio.
Which every artist is.
Yeah, and it could be a hot record, but the shield is already up, because this is your conversation and you're looking at me as your escape route,
And you've probably got so many people doing
DM,
that.
all that.
Someone like you, you probably got like
DM, and so these kind of people, they got to understand, like, you have to have some kind of ambition to where, like, look, hey, I love the parties you go, I've been here a few times, have conversations, start, let people get to know you before you ask for something, because you wouldn't go up to, any place. I'm trying to think of something off the top. You wouldn't go to a store and ask for a discount. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You gotta know somebody that worked there, and you build that relationship with them, and then they're gonna give you the discount. Or that might not be the right scenario, but you have to build a relationship with somebody before you can start asking for something. 100%. And to me, that falls in the line of being annoying and having ambition. Yo, I got this record. Here comes this guy with the same. I got a record, And then this other guy's like, yo, if you ever need anything, like, yo, I'm willing to help, blah, blah, blah. And then now the guard's down a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Like, and that's, I just want to let you know, I posted your flyer. that don't cost you nothing. A like don't cost you nothing. A comment reposting don't cost you nothing. So now at that point, I'm like, yo, okay, you know what? There's a thing. Just like when I said, the posting, you're in your car, you post, you help me. You done let your fans know you listening to my radio show. Why can't I let my fans know you have a tax office or whatever it is,
Yeah, no, wow, take notes, man. RPO TV, relax and take notes. Yeah. I actually did a section where I was talking about God a lot, and I was doing Bible scriptures called Relax and Take Notes, and it came from the Biggie. Relax and take notes. How's that take notes? No, you're dropping bars on it, man. I love it. Shoot, bro. Like from it. So when it comes to ambition, and back to you and what you got going on, like, what can you say to somebody that is maybe in the beginning of what they want to do? It could be anything, any type of art. It could be business. What's like the main focus in like pursuing something, and like, how do you say it? Like, if you could bring back to like when you were driving the van, what's going through your mind in that time? I feel like that's so pivotal, especially with all the obstacles you had to go through. It's like easy to give up.
Yeah, there was a point where, even while I was on radio, I was ready to give up, because I was doing the midnight shift, till 5 in the morning. I had like 2 years of that.
Real quick, shout out to my pops, graveyard shift, 20 years plus.
Yeah, that's you young, got a couple dollars, and you can't spend no money, you can't do nothing, because you every 6 days a week.
Insurance?
Yeah, 6 days a week. Yeah, 6 days a week. You midnight. You know, you're not dating nobody because you know what I'm saying. You can't take them out because you got to sleep right before you go to work because then you got to be up from 12 to 5. Like it was just a lot of stuff. So there was a point where I was ready to give up. And you know, shout out to my brother Nasty. I remember a conversation and he kept telling me because he was already like, you know, he was popping and he was just like, yo, bro, like you got something, man. Like, don't give up. He's like, just hold on. I was like, man, I think I'm gonna go back to insurance, bro. Like, you know, I tried it, you know, cause you get to that point where you hit the wall, you know, and nobody's like, He-Man, you need somebody to, you know, kick you in the ass. Like, yo, bro, come on, man. Let's go. Get up, man. Yeah. Get up. Like, fuck you talking about? Yeah. And he gave me that talk. Yeah. And then it was crazy because I knew Nasty got that from Khaled, being around Khaled all the time. Mm-hmm. Because when I got let go from 102 Jams, I was, you know, like I told you, I left the house crying. I mean, I left the station crying. Coincidentally, Khaled was on tour, and that was before he was flying. Now you see him in a jet. And
dang, he was crying, he was flying.
Yeah. So now, at that point, he was on a bus.
Now you crying and flying.
Yeah. We go.
Tears of joy.
We go, and Khaled's in town, and he wants to eat Popeyes out of every place. I swear to God, my kids, he wants to eat Popeyes. So we walk into Popeyes. We get on the bus with him. You know, we go hit a couple of the spots that he got. I swear, he wanted Popeyes. And we got into Popeyes, and Nasty, I said, you know, Rick's a little down now. He just lost the radio. He's trying to figure out what's going on. And Khaled said, Nasty, go over there for a minute. And I looked, and I'm just sitting there. And I genuinely, on my kids, believe cloth talk was invented right then and there. He might have gave it to everybody else, but I got the cloth talk. When I left that conversation, man, I swear there was nothing gonna stop me. Motherfucker, you think they made you? You think they made you? No, you made you. I remember when you was driving the van. You made you. You. They don't got shit to do with that. You made you. He kept going, and I'm just sitting there looking at Khaled like, God damn, this motherfucker making millions. Like, he right. And I literally wanted to lift the fucking table in Popeyes and flip that bitch upside down and be like, what's next, motherfucker?
I've never seen Popeyes the same.
Yeah. It was like, what's next? Like,
you had them Popeyes.
Khaled
like, yo, what we doing next? Put that
charge, yeah. Like,
what we doing next? That's amazing that you can sit down with Khaled and get that. That's
that was cloth talk from the beginning. Yeah. And I'm not saying I invented the name. I'm just saying, like, that motherfucker had me ready to run through bricks. Like, oh, bitch, I'm going to get it somehow, somewhere. Yeah. So, you know, we all been there, you know. You asked, you know, how do I continue?
Been blessed by that, just to be like, wow, I could sit here and just get that. And, like, God, give me that. Like you said, you need someone to push you. You need a team.
I've always done it on my own, but, you know, when you hit that wall, it's great to have somebody that you can rely on. And, you know, it's not you even asking them. It's just them reminding you at times, like, yo, bro, like, you got it. Don't, you know, because you start wondering, like, you know, like I told you, last year I was depressed. I didn't talk about it on social media, but I was depressed. I was like, damn, I done hit every radio station. Like, this might be the end of radio. I can't go nowhere. Boom, God fucking brings 102 Jams out of nowhere. And was like, hey, 102 Jams back in the city. And I get a phone call. I'm like, thank you, Lord. Like,
oh, man.
Yeah.
Yo, RPO TV, y'all hearing it right now. I keep saying it every time. We could go 2 hours on these podcasts. We could talk about the smallest things to the things in the middle, to what's going on right now, which is you're seeing it in real time, man. Like, seriously, I'm really grateful to have you here and share that, because for someone that I would like I said before, I would consider a voice to the city, someone that's gonna, that if they're in your area, if they're around you, they're gonna benefit. They're gonna see life. They're gonna see connections. They're gonna see business. And for you to come here and share that and let people know that, I feel like a lot of people feel alone in that. A lot of people feel, you even bring up depression. A lot of people feel like they're the only ones going through it. That's always been a thing, because for a long time for me it was like that too. Like, why is it happening to me? And sometimes God's like, yo, it's not just happening to you, but not only is it not happening to you, there's a purpose for this. Yeah. There's like, it's like even how do you say it? Like, even when you get the no's in life from people or whatever, it builds up a resentment, an anger, a bitterness, and people don't know how to navigate the bitterness. People don't know how to navigate the anger. Instead, they're gonna say, "Oh, it's gonna happen again," or "I already tried," or da da da. And instead, it's like switching the confusion and switching anger to ambition. And that's you have perseverance, man, and I just want to like commend you for that, brother. Like perseverance and like what you're doing is like insane, bro. Because for all we know, you couldn't have been on the radio these last couple months doing what you're doing, like you know what I'm saying, like. But to have you after all this time is a super
I never
blessing.
posted that I left any radio station.
Yeah.
Nasty posted one time and was like, "Oh, it was a good run." I was like, "Bitch, you take that down. Take that down." I don't need nobody knowing what's going on. I'll figure it out. It might not be right now, but I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
You know?
I wanted to ask you, man. What do you learn in that journey from meeting different celebrities and artists? Like, get them on the radio station. Like, for you, a lot of people are like, oh my god, like you're seeing this person, you're seeing that person, like you're posting like, you know, your journey of who you meet. But in your eyes and from your shoes, what's that journey like for you? Like, how does it like inspire you? Like, or like, what have you learned from that? You know, meeting different people in that caliber and having them, you know, come to your station.
I mean, as far as learning, I wouldn't say I've learned anything from them, because you got to understand, like, they come in and...
Or just learn from being in that, I guess, in that environment.
It's work. At the end of the day, it's work. They're human.
Okay, it's work.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A lot of times, these artists, some of them want to be there, some of them don't. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, there you go. Okay.
Yeah, so you gotta, you know, you start the conversation and you kind of see like, all right, this ain't going nowhere. The answers are just yes, no. He's fulfilling his obligation with the record label to stop in here, go city to city. You know,
a lot of artists want to be mystic, or like what do you call it, like. Not even mystic, like they want to be like low key.
Yeah.
And you're an artist, you're like, yo, in 2026, no one wants you to be low key. We want to know what's your favorite food, like who you hang, what's your favorite color. Like we want to know in 2026, like we want to know everything about.
I just learned that, just like what you just said, I just learned that the average listener wants to hear that, right? And so a lot of times, you know, people don't know this, but you'll sit down with an artist and they're like, you can't talk about this, you can't talk about that, you can't talk about this or that. And I've had numerous occasions where I said, I respect that. I bring it up, and you have the choice to answer, deflect, do whatever. I said, but on my end, if I don't bring it up, I don't look like I'm doing my job.
Got you.
Because if you think...
Now we're getting into the eyes of the radio.
Yeah, now you...
I see that now.
Say you're the artist.
Okay.
Your job is to say, my record comes out tomorrow, go buy my album, or whatever, stream my album, right? For me, my job is to do the total opposite, because I know your only intentions, the only reason you're sitting with me is to promote your new album. You know what I'm saying? So you're gonna get that off regardless. The record label already told you, don't forget, January 31st, your album drops, February 15th, you're shooting a video, like all that shit is done, right? So like nobody really wants to hear that, you know what I'm saying? The cookie cutter question is like, who's, you know, oh, you got a new album, who's on the album, who produced? No, don't nobody want to hear that shit. Like, I want to hear what's going on, you know? Why are you fighting with 50 Cent? Why are you, you know, this, that, and the third? Or I heard, you know, you're dating now and could be such and such, and you know, those kind of things. And there's been numerous times where I've got into it, and I won't say I got into it. They didn't like the questions that I've asked, and things had turned sideways numerous times.
I was asking this guy earlier, like, yo, you ever been on a podcast?
Yeah. So you know, I've sat down with plenty of people. Yeah.
Most of my, I would say 90% of my guests have not been on.
Podcast. You know, radio's just
He's
like
what
podcast.
You talking about? I do. I'm podcast before podcast.
So you got to think of it like this, right? Just you know, radio is perception, right? So sitting like this with the cameras and me and you speaking, that's normally how the interview goes, right? And then I have extra work after that, right? Because we're playing records and doing all this stuff. So the behind the scenes is I got to take that, let's just say it's a 5-10 minute conversation with this artist. I got to break it down into segments of like 30 and 40 seconds each question, and then build around it. And then let's say, okay, I got, you know, I'm looking at the Nas picture right there. I got Nas. He'll be on tonight from 7 to 8 p.m. Right.
Okay.
So I had already recorded that. This is the behind the scenes. I already recorded that. I had the 10 minutes with Nas or whatever. I have to break that down and then incorporate it within like every 3 to 4 song period and break down each segment to where it sounds like me and Nas been sitting together for a whole hour, but the behind the scenes really is he pulled up for 10 minutes. I got it done, chopped it up.
I went one time and there was Mike Perry on there.
Oh yeah, you guys recorded that.
Yeah, and I saw how you broke it down.
Yeah.
Shout out Mike Perry. He has his podcast now. Mike Perry's
crazy.
Damn, Mike Perry's cool people.
Oh man, yeah.
But I see what you're saying. Okay, so you're making it look like a whole hour and really he was just there for 10. That's crazy work.
Yeah,
that's crazy work.
So you just you kind of stretch it out.
Who's someone that you like? I guess we're gonna come to an end here. Like I said, RPO, we could be all day, but we about to hit up Mangoes in a little bit.
Yeah.
Shout
Mangoes
out Ricky.
on
Friday nights. Who's somebody that you met and like kind of sparked an admiration? Like you were probably already admired the artist, but meeting them, you felt refreshed, or like, is there one that you or a couple you can remember?
No, yeah. It's funny because being Latino in the hip hop game, when we saw Latinos coming up, we were very, very excited. You know what I'm saying? And it goes back to like the word culture, right? Like it's thrown around now like nothing, right? But I remember saying that word culture years ago because hip hop was dominated by black artists at the time, but we had Spanish artists coming in doing well, right? Yeah. So you had Big Pun, you had Joe, and it was cool to see one of us doing good, and we were so excited, yeah. And through the years of being on radio and Nasty forming a friendship with Joe because Nasty produced on Joe's album, I was around Joe. Shit, we were just together on Monday night.
Yeah, I've seen that
on my Instagram.
Performing.
Yeah,
yep.
We was together down in
Miami. I
gotta
come out when Taxi is over. I gotta go out there.
We was in Miami. Joe had a show, and we went out there, and we partied. Nasty DJ, they had me hosting, and I think for me it was Joe. Like, one day I was interviewing him. And it was on, and he said, "Ricky, I gotta stop, bro." And I was like, "All right." I was like, "Motherfucker, gotta go piss. What's going on?" He said, "I've watched you here in Orlando." He's like, "I'm in Miami. I see what you have going on. I just gotta commend you, brother." That was like, ain't nobody could tell me shit after that because like I literally have a group thread with my homeboys that's called the Terror Squad, right? Because we just was young and we wanted to be Terror Squad. It was TS all day. And when Joe gave me that validation, I didn't ask for it. It was just me, working. And I was like, what's going on? Yeah, and he stopped everything. And that to me meant the world. So it was like damn, the guy that, I was following and watching all this.
Mind you, he got Joe and Jada now. Yeah. So he's like larger than life.
Yup. Oh, he's out of here.
Nothing he says to you is like out his ass. Like he's really telling you what it is.
Yeah, so I think that was, a point in my life where I was just like, wow, like, okay, I can quote unquote say I kind of made it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I got the respect of my peers. Like,
that's powerful.
Yeah, that was one. And then, Khaled doing that whole, that cloth talk to me, like, I was thankful that, he got me out that little rut. Mm-hmm. And then, Slim from 112, that was we had some fun times here in Orlando. He the wildest story was at the time he was dating a young lady, and they called the radio station. I was on, and it just so happened to me pick up, and they was like, "I have Slim from 112," and I was like, "Yeah, get the fuck out of here!" Like, and that conversation ended up to leading to meet and then becoming friends. And he would come out and like spend 4 or 5 days out here. And I would set up a party, obviously, so he make some money, and we would party after the party. And, and it got to the point where I had a situation where he could have made some great money and he turned me down on it. And I understood why he turned me down on it because he wasn't aware of what was going on and what potentially could happen. And
he's probably got a million opportunities and he just didn't know that.
And you're talking about a guy from Orlando and he's from Atlanta, but we built that bond, and he's coming out quite often, Magic games, all that kind of stuff. And then I had another situation, and that second situation I was like, you fucking dropped the ball on the first one. And now look. And that situation, he understood like, God damn, I fucked up. So then the second situation came around and I said, this is it, brother. Like, I have it. And he's like, man, I don't know. I said, listen, bro, like, come on. Trust. We missed the first one. Like, let's go. And that second situation, we ended up forming his first solo song called So Fly. Yeah, so if you look on the back of the album, I have credits on that, and that was it. Built a whole situation. Yeah, and we became friends and made money together, and but that was a situation that he missed the first one because the first one was out of here.
It happens. I feel like I've done that before. Yeah. I feel like people invited me and I missed the first one and the second one comes through. So I get it.
Second one, came together.
And it's that consistency you have.
Yeah.
Too.
And if you look up the record, So Fly, a lot of people know it. It was such a big record that everybody did their own remix on it. Like everybody did their own remix. Yeah. The record went out of here. So Fly. Yep. So.
TV, I heard.
Yeah. You check that out by Slim. And between those three guys, those are the people that I've been able to, I can call, I can, whatever, like speak to them. Sure. And it's been a hell of a journey. Now I've been around and spoken to, Jay-Z. I posted the picture of me and Jay-Z, Cardi B, the list goes on and but they're doing their job, and everybody's happy, and we go about it. But I was able to connect with those three.
That's amazing, man. You have one life to live, right? Yeah. And you're able to. Obviously, I'm pretty sure you want so much more. Life from now, right?
Bro, I can't stop, bro. I can't stop. Like it's just it's something in me that just can't stop.
We could be here forever. We got 2 minutes, man. Anything like obviously you guys know that he's this is Ricky Padilla, man. If you don't know now, you know. Just real quick, man, in 60 seconds. Anybody watching, maybe a younger version of yourself, what would you tell them? And we could wrap this up.
Two things. One, ambition and annoying. Understand the difference. Think about what you're gonna do if you're put in a situation and you're trying to figure out maybe how to reach out to this person or how to have a conversation because they're in front of you. Think about that. Don't go be the annoying person. Think about how ambition can help you out and how you can help them out and figure out how you can grow together. Because a lot of times, most of these people are already established, right? Mm-hmm. The person that you want to speak to is already established. How can you, one hand wash the other, like, let me help you out, let me,
It's like a potluck, like what you bring in.
Yeah, not just, hey, hire me or whatever, I got the best record, play the record, that kind of thing. And then this is, I don't remember who said it, but it was for people that are in school right now and, you're trying to figure out what lane you're going to go to and all that stuff. It's not the grades you make, it's the hands you shake. And that, that is not to deter anybody from, studying. Like, continue to do what you got to do, right? But you might be sitting next to, somebody that can put you in a great place. But if you go into class and you don't want to speak to nobody and you not dealing with nobody, if me and you apply for, let's just say, an insurance job, right? And now I know this person, but you might be better. Realistically, the real world, who's gonna fucking get the job? You think you gonna get it or I'm gonna get it? If I know this person, but you are more qualified, there's a relationship here. You know what I'm saying? There's a friendship. There's history. More than likely, I'm gonna get it. So remember, not the grades you make, it's the hands you shake. So if you're in school, continue to bust ass in school, but don't be naive to, people around you. You see somebody, maybe that dress like you, that talk like you, say what's up, like, oh, what's up, what you in here for, and then go from there. That might be, you might be, I might be a photographer or a videographer, you might be a music producer. Yeah. You might be a music producer and need video, you collab, and that's where you start linking up and trying to figure out, In that time when we had, man, it was perfect. I was needing somebody, you know what I'm saying? You guys were coming up we all hit. The vibe was there.
Fun.
Yeah, the vibe was there.
Good time,
you know,
man.
like, and we all just kept vibing, and you know. But if neither one of us would have spoken to each other, you know what I'm saying? That wouldn't have happened. We wouldn't have been here.
Be here forever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yo,
to elaborate on that real quick.
we're about to end it here. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, it was cool. It was like we went out there to do something with somebody else. We did some stuff, and then you know, Ricky liked to work.
Yeah.
And we just kind of was like, almost like in a sense, like, you know, we probably would have been like, hey, what's up, yo? We'll do something for you. But we were able to show our work actually prior to that.
Show your work.
Yeah.
Cool. But you know, not everybody gets the opportunity, but we did.
Yeah.
And but what did we do with it?
Yeah.
Come on now.
Yeah. We made history.
What we do with the models?
We had good times. It was fun, man.
We had a hell of a run.
We turned some things upside down, you know? You know,
And we just started. We was hungry.
Yeah.
But yo, man, and thanks so much, bro. I appreciate you sharing that. Cause yo, shout out to Anthony, man. Ritual Productions. Anthony's my older brother, played a big part in everything we've been doing for a long time, man. Ricky Padilla.
You know what's funny is Anthony was always the talker, so I was surprised when I sat down. I was like, "Who's interviewing me?" You know, like, "What's going on? Y'all both interviewing me?" He was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Nah, my brother is by himself." I was like, "All right."
Shoot, again, man. Like we mentioned before, maybe a part 2 later on. But other than that, I'm grateful for this, man. Ricky, blessings to you, man. Blessings to your family, your business. We're about to hit on Mangoes Friday nights. Y'all know what time it is, man. Tax season, credit repair. We love y'all. We thank y'all. Couldn't thank Ricky enough for what he shared, bro. This is gems. This is bars. If you're watching this, like, subscribe, comment, show love on the radio. Do what you got to do. 102. We're in the building. We back and we doing it better than ever.
Tune in 7 p.m. Monday through Friday. 102 Jams at Ricky Padilla on Instagram. Good night.
Let's go. That's it. That was a perfect way to end.